In this video, we're going to explore different animal behaviors. Animals' behaviors help them. They help them survive or reproduce. Animal behaviors rely on stimulus and response. A stimulus causes a reaction, whereas a response is a reaction to the stimulus. So in our example, we're going to talk about a dog seeing a duck. In this case, the dog sees the duck is the stimulus, and the response is the dog barking at the duck. Now, responses can be internal, such as the duck's heart racing because the dog is barking at it, or they may be external, where the duck runs away. Animal behavior may be instinctive or learned. Instinctive behavior is something animals were born to do. They are never taught. Examples would be birds building a nest, or bees going to flowers. They didn't have to go to bird school or bee school to sit down and learn this behavior. They just knew how to do it. Whereas learned behaviors need to be taught. And when we have learned behavior, there are a couple different ways to learn behavior, such as conditioning. It's providing a good or bad stimulus to encourage or discourage a behavior. Basically, what this is saying is you're either going to reward or punish depending on if you want to encourage or discourage something. So for example, potty training a puppy. If the dog goes in the house, you usually give them a negative reinforcer. You might yell at the dog. However, and that will make the dog sad, so they won't want to do that again. They'll learn over time that if they go to the bathroom in the house, that they get in trouble. Whereas if the dog goes outside and you give them a treat, then they know that that's a good thing. They'll want to get that treat, so that is a positive reinforcer. In school, you get a letter grade. If you get an A when you work hard and do well on a test, generally that encourages you. Some kids, not so much. But generally, a positive reinforcement makes the subject happy. Now, there are a couple different other kinds of learning besides conditioning, such as trial and error. Trial and error is doing something again and again and again until you get it right, such as riding a bike. Very few people would have the ability to just hop on a bike and be able to ride it. Generally, it is something that takes time and practice, doing over and over again to learn how to do. Another example of learned behavior would be insight. If I go over to my friend's house to play fork knife or pub game, I'm going to know how to play it. I might not have to sit down and do a tutorial. Video games all play in a very similar way if they're in the same genre. So I don't need to learn everything about the game to do it. I might just know how to do it. Another type of learned behavior is imprinting. This is one we see in ducks and geese, where the young follow the mother, the first thing that they see when they're born, and do exactly as they do. Another animal behavior is aggression. It is behavior used by an animal to get control over another animal. We see this in deer, we see this in a lot of different creatures, but we're going to use deer as an example. Male deer, when they see a female deer, will often smash their antlers against each other to show dominance. Generally, the deer with the bigger antlers will come out on top, and then he will get the female as his mate. Another aggressive behavior in deer is with fawns. Female deer are extremely aggressive when they have their fawns with them, to the point where they will attack. And that is a protective method. Now, generally, deer travel in herds or live in herds, and they are very protective of their young. And that is a defense mechanism of aggression. Territory is the area occupied by an animal or group. Different animals mark their territory in different ways. Male deer will rub their antlers on trees. Dogs, cats, creatures like that will use urine or scents to mark their places. And monkeys can even throw feces. Mating. Mating controls many, many behaviors in the animal kingdom. One example is courtship rituals. Birds of paradise put on great displays of this. There are many good videos on YouTube that you can see these birds of paradise dancing in order to attract a mate. Another example, of course, would be the deers with their antlers. Animals also communicate. Penguins have specific calls that they can communicate with mother and child back and forth. Bees perform dances to locate flowers. Ducks quack, and monkeys can show their teeth, they can chatter, and they have basically a lot of different ways of communicating. Of course, humans also have a couple different ways of communicating. We can talk, but we also have facial features, such as a smile, someone's generally happy. A frown, they're kind of sad. Or an angry eyebrow look, they're mad. Animals behave in many different ways for many different reasons. In the comments below, put down your favorite animal. Have a great day.